Yo, you guys, this is Blacklist of the Abyss, and you're watching my review for the final episode of Nobunagun, episode 13. Alright, and this review, to be honest, I'll just tell you the truth, alright? I could have had this review up yesterday if I wanted to, but I was catching up to the Blacklist on NBC, on Hulu, technically, and I was just lazy. Yeah, pretty much, I was just lazy. Plus, I was studying for my psych exam that I have on Wednesday, too, which I'm doing tonight as well, and tomorrow. But, yeah, I could have had it up yesterday if I wanted to, but I was catching up to the Blacklist, and I just figured Nobunagun, the Blacklist. So, that's that. But, now it's up. Now it's up. Alright, and this episode starts with Dogu, the alien Dogu, talking with Florence Nightingale back in, like, 1888. Alright, she was the Angel of Crimea, which, I'll be honest, if it wasn't for the stuff going on with, like, Ukraine, Crimea, and Russia right now, I'd have no clue what freaking Crimea was. But, I'd be thinking Crimea River? Like, what do you mean Crimea? But whatever. I literally thought, that was a really bad joke, so you could tell I thought of that, like, right this second. But yeah, the story with Florence Nightingale is that she's pretty much Randy Orton. She hears voices in her head, and these voices pretty much tell her what she needs to do in order to help humanity and help the world. And one of the things that she needed to do was there were these women who were injected with some type of bacterial weapon of some sort or whatever. It doesn't really matter what it was. At first I thought, excuse me, at first I thought it might have been like an invasion object, was like living inside of them, like some type of parasite or whatever, but they never really said so, whatever. But at this point, it doesn't really matter what it was. The point is that there were these women who were infected by this bacteria in their stomach, and had it gone unchecked, humanity, like, there would have been this huge outbreak. People would have died. It would have been some crazy crap. All right, so her voice told her that she needed to kill these women so that she could dispose of their bodies the correct way, burn the organs that were infected with this bacteria, virus, whatever, and save humanity that way. And because she went around killing these women by cutting them open, like taking out their organs and crap, and burning them, she was the one who became known as Jack the Ripper. Because other people didn't know that other part of the story. They just thought this guy's killing freaking women for no freaking reason, right? But they didn't know that first of all it was a girl, it was Florence Nightingale, and second, she had a reason. So that's the story of Jack, the true story of Jack the Ripper. All right, so yeah, and now that one more thing, she was talking with Dogu, and she ended up agreeing to like become an E-Gene. However, the story with the whole, like, voices in your head thing is that the voices kind of have a will of their own. They have their own schedule pretty much. They choose when they want to speak up, and you can't make them talk and make them give you their abilities, because when this voice appears in your head, it shows you what you need. It shows you where you need to cut, pretty much. That's what it shows you. It shows you where you need to cut. Right. So Jack is using this to find out the invasion object's weak spot, where he needs to cut. So, however, you can't just use that power whenever, like a freaking ranger in Bravely Default. Like, you have to, like, it's not something you can use whenever. So they have a schedule of their own. Whenever they feel like talking to you, they talk to you. All right. So that's the story with that. But now that they're talking with Jack, he can use Nightingale mode. He can use the voices to find the weak spot of the invasion object, like a Byakugan, pretty much. That's essentially what he has in the Byakugan. Not really, because it's not 360 degree. It doesn't matter, right? The point is that he found the weak spot, right? He found the weak spot. He goes in with Shio because the surface of the invasion object was hard, so his knife alone wouldn't go through, so he used the force of the shots from the tanks in order to force the knife through and get inside. Then once he got inside with Shio, he held back all the invasion objects, and Shio headed towards the brain, because for a second, I actually forgot that Shio was the main character. I thought that Jack was, like, for like 5 seconds, and then I realized, oh yeah, Shio's going to go finish the job. That's right, she is the main character. Now I remember now. So that was simple, really. She went to the brain, destroyed it, boom, done. It was simple. All right, and the others had to deal with the original cells. They were being transported to a safer place, and the transporter was being defended by by his new invasion object, and it wasn't affected by the pheromones. It would just attack whatever got close to the transporter. Right, so the others had to destroy that, and they work together and they do it. Pretty much, it's simple. It's again simple. Everyone but John Hunter did something. And Geronimo was the one, obviously Geronimo. And who else? Who else would it be? Gandhi? Like, but Geronimo's the one finishes them off, being cut right through the middle, and that's that. Mission accomplished. Again, simple, 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 simple. So that was the first half of the episode. All right. So that stuff was cool. Well, I actually really did enjoy like the story of Florence Nightingale and stuff like that. So I like that part. The second half of the episode, I loved that part even more though. This stuff was hilarious, right? Six, or Suho as they pronounce it in Japanese, which makes no sense according to the spelling, but Japanese alphabet and pronunciation is completely different. But whatever, right? Six, all right. Six introduces herself as a name that nobody in the entire planet can pronounce correctly. Okay, I wrote it down. Right, Ibu Kijin or Ibu Kijin Erdenaburg. All right, something like that. I don't know what her parents were thinking, but they must have been like drunk or high or something. I don't know. But they clearly weren't sober. There was really something wrong with them at the time to come up with a name like that, Ibu Kigi. Like, man, I'd have to go to court and change my name or something because that's too much. She says, you could just call me Eswi or Iswi or whatever. I'm like, okay, I don't know how you get that from Erdenbilk, but whatever. Okay, whatever. Iswi, whatever. Iswi. I'll call her Iswi. All right. I'll call her Sensui, actually. I'll call her Sensui. I don't care. I'll call her Sensui. Right? So, okay. So she's actually a pretty big pervert. She's an even bigger pervert than Jess Beckham. She was mad at Shio for letting guys ride her. Letting people ride her that weren't Geronimo. So, and then Jess Beckham comes over and she's mad about having been given orders by Shio and being forced to overexert herself. So the two of them just pick Shio up and take her to the showers. Yeah, you know what they were going to do in there. They were going to torture her with pleasure, pretty much. Let's just put it that way. And then Gandhi, Gaudi, and Kappa, Robert Kappa, they were trying to peep, but it just wasn't working with the steam and stuff. That was funny. But even funnier was John Hunter. This dude just started to like screw around with freaking Jack and Geronimo. He was like, "Wait, so Le Monde, how many objects did you kill again? Around 1,000. Oh, that's okay. All right, Jack, Adam, how many did you kill? You know, about 1,997 or whatever, right? So, who was it that took out the other 2,000? That's right. It was this guy. All right, this John Hunter, man. He's hilarious. Oh man, I was cracking up whenever he had a line in this episode. It was just hilarious. All right, it was hilarious. All right, I just love this scene. And then he was doing this stuff again too, because everyone, including VDoc, they went to go visit Galileo, and she only cared about VDoc. She's like, "Oh, Mr. VDoc," and everyone else, yeah. Yeah. So she only cared about VDoc, so that was funny. But Geronimo, she's actually dressed like a girl. Like it's surprising because she's been so like masculine throughout the series. Yeah, so whatever. But I thought that was interesting. She was just like wearing a dress. So, But yeah, Hunter, he was just starting to brag. He was just starting to brag to Galileo, and then Geronimo and Jack had like the most scripted comments you could ever imagine. Like they were talking like those guys who are bad actors, or actually they were talking like people who are acting as people who are bad actors. They're like, "Oh yes, Hunter was very valuable in the mission. If it wasn't for him, who knows what we would have done? Like they were acting like really bad actors. It was hilarious. The way they were drawn too was hilarious. The Geronimo ended up like crying in Six's arms because she was forced to say stuff like that. It was hilarious. I thought the scene was funny, and then it just like gets serious though because oh yeah, well no not yet. There was this there. No one told Galileo that Nobunagun that Shio was the one who actually came up with the plan. So she thought like, oh man, Mr. V-Doc, this plan was genius. That's expected from someone like you. Then he gets mad because he wasn't the one to come up with it. So that was funny. But after that is when it gets serious. Shio does that cliche Japanese anime girl thing where for some reason they can't just like grab your shoulder. They have to like barely grab your shirt and like only hang on by a thread. Like they do that. She did that cliche anime Japanese girl thing, and she brings Jack to the roof, and they thank each other. And Jack pretty much he tells Shio that his E-gene thinks of her as being important to the world, and Shio's disappointed by that because she's like, oh, I'm important to Jack the Ripper, but I'm not important to Adam Muirhead. And she was disappointed by that. She wanted him personally to have cared to save her and rescue her and care about her and think of her as important. Right? And the scene was like obviously building up to Jack kissing Shio, but because of that, I thought they were gonna swerve us and have like what any other anime does. Someone comes up and interrupts them or something like that, and they get embarrassed, and then they don't end up doing anything, and they try to end the episode with comedy. And I thought they were gonna do that, but they didn't. They swerved, they like reverse swerved me. Like Jack actually ended up kissing Shio, and I was like, oh wow, all right, hey, so that was cool. And that's how the episode ended too, with that. So I liked the episode overall. I liked the ending animation that they did here too, because they've had two different ending animations, but this one was like the third one. I liked this one because it had all the characters like scrolling up the screen and everything. You have Jack. You had Nobunaga there, Oda Nobunaga. You had Jack smiling with like a young Florence Nightingale to his right. That was cool. You have Kappa there with his camera taking a picture of a Shio clone, and then you have Gowdy crying from joy because he has the Photoshop pictures of her. There was just some funny stuff there. Plus, you saw they even put those two girls in there from the opening. In the opening, there's this part where Dogu comes across the screen, like not Dogu the alien, but Dogu like the name of the organization, and it has up there, Defense Organization against outer invasion objects or something like that, whatever Dogu stands for, I forgot. And after that they have like these two girls come up on the screen like typing, and like relaying information back to their superiors and stuff like that. And even those two girls appear in this ending animation. I was like, oh dang, they're putting everybody in there. They put Daisal in there. They put a bunch of different people who we haven't seen before. Well, some of them were probably name dropped last episode. They had a bunch of names dropped last episode. There's a guy we saw in this episode who had like a red or purple hair or something like that. That dude was there. So I liked the ending animation. I thought it was cool. That's it for the episode. I enjoyed it. I'll give it an 8.5 out of 10. That was pretty good. The last half was hilarious. Plus the story of Florence Nightingale and the scene with Shio and Jack at the end. I thought it was a pretty good episode. So I'll give it an 8.5 out of 10. And as for the series overall, I'll give that a 7 out of 10 because while I enjoyed these last couple episodes and I enjoyed the first 2 episodes, the rest of the episodes are like, cool, okay, but like nothing spectacular, nothing amazing, nothing that good, So, yeah, I'll give the series a 7 out of 10 overall, and that's it. Rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.